Welcome back to our series, Work Happy, where we're talking about the gifts that each Enneagram numbers bring to the workplace and also inviting you to make some small shifts that will increase your fulfillment and joy at work. This is 9 in 9 Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. The gifts that the Enneagram 4 bring to the workplace are their emotional intelligence and authenticity. You will not work with a person who is more sensitive to the emotional experience of what's going on around them. Fours tend to be highly creative and able to think outside the box, which is really, really beneficial to have in a work team. In my conversation with an Enneagram 4 who is an artist and a musician, she talks about the emotional workload that her job requires. And as a mom and a busy woman outside of her work, she really has had to learn how to balance that emotional workload. Take a listen here.
I'm finding that I like to have about half of my time that's live performance and half of the time where I'm independently working on songs or pitching songs or um, doing my own studio work for projects because the emotional energy that's required to have an audience and to feel what's happening in the room and respond or pivot or play with different group and go, okay, that's working, that doesn't work. It's such in real time, especially with some of the music I do. If I were doing classical music, you would still be responding, but it's very set what it's going to be. So much of my music that I do, whether it's jazz or pop or worship music, is the interaction.
Right.
And that requires, I think, in good ways, I don't know if spiritual gifts comes into this, your conversations at all, but prophecy, the just reading what's happening, but that requires so much emotional energy that I have to protect how much I can do that in my profession. And I have to balance it with, okay, that's not going to be 100% of what I do in my work. There have to be other times where the music looks a different way. And that for me might mean studio work. I'm kind of, someone else is wearing the hat, someone else is writing the music. I come in, I sing the page, I leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have done a professional audit recently of all the work I do and like scales and grades and numbers of what does it demand of me emotionally? What does it demand mentally? What does it make financially? Because I can't always be tapping into those places. It's just too draining for me.
Yeah, especially with a family at
Mhm.
home to go
Right.
to every night if you've
Right.
spent all that emotion at work
Mm-hmm.
without protecting some of it, then I mean, because you're not able to turn it off. So then you're gonna go home and like
It's way too much.
it's don't you love the idea of an emotional workload balance sheet of having to audit where you're spending this deep emotional capacity every day? I mean, some Enneagram 4s are going to need to find ways to not give as much emotional energy during the day so that they have some left over for their family and their friends and their home and for themselves. Other Enneagram 4s may find that they're sort of slowly dying inside because they don't have a way to use their emotional creative energy at their workplace. And so they need to find ways to put more of that in. I'm specifically thinking of a woman who took my Enneagram class designed for more. And she mentioned that she was actually afraid to let her emotions really show up in the workplace because she feared that they would be too much, or that if she didn't play by all the rules and stay inside the box, that it might affect the way people saw her professionally, or even, cost her promotions and advancement in her workplace. So as an Enneagram 4, you may be in one of either of these camps, but I'm going to encourage you to take the audit, to make the balance sheet of where you are spending your emotions and where you are able to really lean into your creative gifts. Make sure that there's a balance of it between your workplace and yourself and home. If you'd like more information about how to work with this emotional balance with the way to not overextend your emotions and let them take over, versus not keeping them all reined in and not letting them have their place and space in the world. I'd love for you to join us for the last Enneagram class of 2025. I'm only offering this class one more time. It's called Designed for More. And as a podcast listener, you can have a $99 discount. When you check out, just use the registration code podcast. You can find the links in my bio or in the links below. I hope I'll see you there.